What up, what up, what up, everybody? Welcome back to another Thursday night on the #1 live tuning show in all of existence. Welcome back to the garage. And as you can see, we're starting earlier than normal again. Got a couple people in here. I see Ted and WS6 and George. What's up? We'll give some people a couple minutes to pile on in. There we go. Numbers are ticking up, going up, 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 up. What up, Scoop Sam? James, how's it going? There's my boy Andrew. Oh, it's been a hell of a week, ladies and gentlemen. Hell of a week. So what's new? What's new? So much new. If you'd taken time to see my new video, you would see, hi Mom. You'd see that we got rid of the Corvette and got a Duramax. Do you have Gen 4 idle tune specific video? George, I should. Focus on idle airflow. That's the table. Get your fueling dialed in. Hey Chris, get your fueling dialed in, your MAF and your VE. You got to do that first, really. And then look at your base idle airflow. Yeah. Well, I needed a daily driver. What up, Cole? Needed a daily driver. And that was the one that was going to go out of all the project cars. Got rid of the Superado. Got rid of one project car. Got a daily driver that we've already started modifications on. I've got a decent amount of stuff torn. No, Daily Soul, no compound turbo. That doesn't match with daily driving. Got half. Thanks, Scuba. Got half of. I would say half. Hey, Tyler. Got a lot of the parts torn out of the engine bay on the Typhoon. And so there's going to be a lot of stuff. We're getting ready to start doing the ECU upgrade, harness build out. It's going to be kind of a quick and dirty harness build out. Andrew George, nitrous on the diesel. We might throw some nitrous on there for fun. What up, Eric? Cole says, how do we go about saying minimum injector pulse rich on D-cell? Rich on D-cell, minimum injector pulse isn't going to really adjust that much. But turn DFCO back on whenever you're done, and you won't be rich on D-cell. You'll be lean. What up, DIY? Mods on the Typhoon. Well, got the new transmission, got the new 4L60 that's built for 700 wheel horsepower. You know, standard stuff, SFI flex plate, SFI balancer. What else? Of course, bigger turbo, new exhaust. That's about it for the mods. For now. Just because we don't have time. Rocky Mountain Race Week is really right around the corner. Oh, yeah, water methanol. We'll be doing water methanol on the Typhoon and on the diesel. So, in fact, Nitrous Express has a pretty cool little setup for diesels that uses EGT temperature to control your water methanol injection. So as your EGTs climb, you start injecting more water methanol. Robert's got a question here on a Gen 3 P01. How does cranking fuel stage 1 and 2 work? Cranking always starts at row 0 in stage 1. Correct. Whenever you start cranking, it starts at 0 and works its way through stage 1 into stage 2. What happens if minimum pulse is set too low? You'll hit a limit, Cole, where it just won't go below it. You can set minimum pulse to 0, and it's going to limit out at 1.4 milliseconds or something like that. Thomas Gonzalez, what are your thoughts on Hennessy Performance and Tuner School? Well, I won't really talk about the Tuner School. I don't have anything to say about them. Hennessy Performance, they do some cool stuff over there. Have you ever thought about doing a few hour class on HP tuners for beginners? Honestly, that's all I used to do that, and I need to get back to doing it. It's just been, things been a little bit wonky right now, so. Super slow. It's been a few weeks since we've had the show, so you've not missed anything. Greg's over here using the early videos, start retuning my Gen 3 boosted vet, still on stock map. 12-year-old tune, should be fun. Good luck. Just pay attention to your map, make sure you don't max it out. Cousin by Micro Squirt for his 93 Kobo wants me to tune it for him. All I've tuned was HP tuners. Got any quick tips for me? Tyler, if you haven't already watched some of the Typhoon stuff, that'll get you pointed in the right direction. Once you get the thing up and running, though, as long as you have a wideband input, the thing self-tunes. You just have to actually go in and set up self-tuning. It won't do it on its own like some stuff. What do you mean you thought you blew up the super slow auto? What'd you do? Ah, thanks, George. Thanks for my videos and others. I can't swap my LY6 swapped OBS Chevy, and it's drivable and fitting better. Awesome. That's why we do this. That's the whole purpose of all this stuff, is to get you guys getting better. Perfect. You're heading in the right direction. That's all that matters. Baby steps, get everything sorted out, get a better running vehicle. Best running vehicle. Nobody's going to tune your vehicle better than you. Kyle W, Gen 3 speed density tuning, can't seem to get it to work without the car going in limp mode, installing. 0406, not sure on the code it's throwing. Yeah, you got to find out what the codes are, Kyle, and work backwards from the codes, because you're probably tripping something in an airflow calculation table. And as long as that is happening, you're going to have issues, but you need to find out what code it is, track it down, look underneath your Diagnostics tab, and it'll probably be like a P0068 or something like that, which you can broaden the error range on it to keep it from happening. 98 LS1 cold start IAC counts drop to 0 by the time operating hits 130. Crack the throttle body open, Chris. You're going to have to manually crack it open, find the adjustment screw and open it up a little bit. Get it to the point where, well, actually, probably need to close it. But you need to adjust your throttle body. So adjust your throttle body till you get into that sweet spot of like 50 to 70 counts whenever it is at operating temp. You want it to be like 180. You want to be around that 50 to 70 counts, because that gives you plenty of room above and below that for the IAC to control your idle properly. And yeah. Unfortunately, on a 98 LS1, if it's the stock throttle body, the screw is probably on the bottom side. It's a pain to get to. But it's doable. It's doable. Stock throttle bodies have an adjustment screw, but they're hard to get to. Sure thing, man. Sure thing. My D-cell does not engine brake like stock. Is that normal for power adder and tuning? Mike, D-cell engine braking requires DFCO, and it also requires the timing to be advanced whenever you're off throttle. So if you've changed either of those, it will do away with engine braking. HP tuners work on the new Duramax, not the 2022. Does not work on the 2022. It works up to the 2021 6.6 liter. It does not work on the 3-liter Duramax, though, or whatever the baby Duramax is. Though it does work on the 2. Whatever it is that's in the Colorado, the very small, the baby Duramax. I don't know what's up with 2022s. Nobody really supports it right now. It's brand new, but it's obviously not the same as what was in the 20s and the 21s. My guess is maybe Global B is involved. Yeah, Greg, you're probably, since you're a 3rd gen, you're probably just going to have to go to a 2-bar SD tune and ditch the MAF, unfortunately. Just not a lot of adjustability on the Gen 3 MAF setups. because you're either maxing out the hertz or you're maxing out the airflow on them. So pretty standard. Now you get into the 4th gen stuff and the 5th gen stuff, and it just no longer becomes a problem. You got a lot more headroom on some of that stuff, depending on the platform. So, man, we just, gone a couple weeks and come back and all the good questions. We are still, Felicia Four Door Rocket had a family emergency the Thursday that we were supposed to do her live show. We will get her on. Her and her husband both are excited to come on and talk. If DFCO is on and timing in the decel area is stock, you should be getting some engine braking. Familiar with ECU Master. Trying to start my Gen 353 speed density setup. It says it is synced when cranking. I can hear it wanting to fire, but injector pulse width is way higher than it should be. Sasquatch, I am not. But what's your pulse width reading at whenever it's cranking? What up, Chevy for Life? 40-ish. Ooh, yeah, that is super high. Check your fuel calcs, man. Make sure that your injector calculation for your desired fuel is all right on that stuff. But go back and do the simple stuff also. Double check everything else as far as, even though you're getting a sync for the cam crank, double check, make sure that everything is actually firing spark, etc., etc., etc. Would it be worth getting dyno time to tune my math in 4th gear than doing a 2nd or 3rd gear street pull? Steelers, I would not even bother with the math on the dyno. I would just do nothing but speed density on the dyno and then do the math on the road. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, Sasquatch, is if the injector scaling's off somewhere. Because it sounds like, if you had 80 pounds per hour injectors in there, it thinks that you have like 26 in there. But I have not opened up the ECU Master software in a while. And so I just have to dig through the software to see what would be possible as far as settings that could be messing with it. What up, Mr. Murphy? I will be doing, I've got a video ready to go that's going to be dropping out this weekend. Some of you may have already seen my teaser post on Instagram of what standalone we are installing on the Typhoon. Waiting for my LS7 to come back from spinning a rod. Would you have your LS7 in, Justin? Was it out of a Z06 or did you have it in something else? Oh my goodness, that's a bad idea. I just realized I'm drinking caffeinated water. Sorry. I grabbed a can of sparkling water out of the fridge. It tastes a little funky. It's blackberry mandarin, and then I'm sitting over here drinking on it. I realize it's caffeinated. Out of the Z06. Well, sucks that you spun a rod. Did you have them do anything whenever you got the motor rebuilt? Which version of Mega Logger do you recommend? Hold on. I can't ever remember the different names of it. So I'm running Mega Logger HD. I don't remember. Oh, yeah, Mega Logger HD. General purpose, supporting the most file types. I like Mega Logger HD because you can export things like HP Tuner log files as XML and or CSVs and open them up in Mega Logger also if you want to play around with I mean, technically, Megalogger HD will open almost any log file, no matter what platform you're on. So, I know a lot of people just think of it as being the Megasquirt logger, but it's really good. Got a 1975 C3. Let's see. If I had Sniper Atomic 2.0, you know, Brad, I would probably lean towards the Atomic just because of the problems I've had with snipers in the past. But I don't know. Maybe they got that stuff sorted out. Oh, okay. Motor I had trick head flow cams, trick flow cams, heads. My dyslexia shining through here. BTR stage 3. Doing a full rotating assembly. Sweet. Kind of got a basket case for this card. Video has been helping. Good to hear. Will you be accepting tune purchases soon? That's a good question. I thought that I had some up, but they may have all sold out already. There's one tune available right now. There's one custom tune available right now, and that's going to be it for this month. Especially because I got a lot of stuff going on. You know, grandfather passed away on Tuesday. The previous Saturday, my best friend's father passed away. So a lot of crappy stuff going down this week that's going to keep me kind of tied up here in April. So where what, DIY? Where do you purchase a tune? Oh, thanks, Shave It for Life. Grandpa had been fighting cancer for a long time. A lot of you guys already knew that, you know, because I'd gone back a couple times to see him. Whereas my friend's dad, who was a, you know, close friend of mine, used to play golf with him a lot and stuff. Really enjoyed the guy. His was unexpected. Heart attack killed him. Kind of out of the blue. It was a bad ordeal. Website DIY. GoRogueGarage.com. Should be right on the main page there. So, yeah, part of life. Sucks, but thanks, everybody. I do appreciate it. But as I said, because of that, there will not be a live show next Thursday. Because I'll be traveling. Well, Kyle, you know, whenever you get around to it. As I said, April's going to be pretty busy. May might take on a couple more tunes. June will not because of Rocky Mountain Race Week. I'm basically going to be gone effectively a week and a half. And so I don't like to take on new tunes while I'm going to be gone. So normally I have very rich D-cell with SD tune. Hey, we're on the same subject. Mr. Bull, turn DFCO back on. Once you get your SD tune done, turn DFCO back on, and you will be shutting fuel off on D-cell. Amen, De La Soul. Wired it up an E85 sensor last weekend. Justin, did you have to put a resistor in there to get it to work? Or did you wire it into a ECU, factory ECU that already had it built in? Doing a nitrous kit. Nitrous the world. I need to read up more about nitrous on diesels. Figure out what everybody's doing about it. Seems counterintuitive to spray fuel, right? Yeah, Mr. Bull. Just make sure you're done with your tuning, then turn it back on. Brad just sent me a picture of this Corvette that he was talking about. Let me look at it. Did you pick this up? Is this your Corvette, this convertible? Ah, sweet. Car had an LM4 in it, so I swapped it with a LS6 with the MS3 cam. Got it on the dyno, made 400 at the wheels, but needs work in the speed density side yet. Runs pretty good as is. What make do you believe is the easiest to start tuning? Awesome, Brad. That's sweet. Do some research on the other stuff. Hold on, Tomas, I'll answer your question. Do some research on what people are having luck with. See if anybody is still having issues with the wide bands on the snipers. Because if the wide bands are still going out on the snipers, terrible, terrible. What make do you believe is the easiest to start tuning? Tomas, Chevys are the easiest to start tuning, the easiest to tune, period, in the domestic world. Outside of that, probably going to be, if you were looking at imports that are on factory ECUs, maybe earlier WRXs, stuff like that. Thanks, Chevy, for live. Easiest make to tune is Briggs & Stratton. Hondas. Well, yeah, Hondas would be easy too. Something like that, there's going to be a plethora of information out there for you. So. But, yeah, I said. For domestics, Chevys, their tables are the easiest. They're the most straightforward. Well, yeah, Honda does have VTEC, which can be a pain in the butt to tune with. Subarus are pretty easy to tune, though. I'll say that much. I don't know what all software they're using on the later stuff, but I know back in the day, you had a plethora of software to choose from. Tomas, you should have bought a Chevy to begin with, man. What order would you recommend tuning the Gen 3 in? Depends on if you're going to be able to keep math. If you're going to be able to keep the mass airflow sensor, say it's going to be an NA build, I would start with the math. Always start with the math. Now on a Gen 3, if you're going to be running booster or something like that, you might as well just go straight to speed density and be done with it. But speed density on a Gen 3 is super easy to tune anyway. So Gen 3s are so easy to tune. Yeah, guys inject propane on diesel engines. Ah, see, Andrew knows. What Ford did you get, Tomas? That's the question. It's got a mod motor in it. Man, you're going to have your hands full. Ford is very tunable. It's just a lot more work. Getting closer to my 80 drag car, 6-liter S475. Cam valve springs, TH400. Just ordered Snake Eaters. Nice. I should get kickbacks from Snake Eaters. They holler at those guys. Let them know how many sets of their injectors I sell. Justin, wherever you get my motor back in, what should I do tune-wise for break-in? Keep it in closed loop. You know, if you're changing displacement, injector size, stuff like that, try and guesstimate and make adjustments to your, obviously put your injector data stuff in like that, but make adjustments, guesstimations to your airflow. But leave it in closed loop that way. It can still somewhat correct itself. Excuse me. Man, scratched my hands up working on the car yesterday. Ah ha ha ha. Oh, spider injectors. Fun. I had a two-door Tahoe with that setup. You've got to be able to upgrade that to something. I don't know. I wasn't doing this kind of stuff whenever I had my Tahoe. Firebird 4th gen with the LS3 the same as Camaro to tune. They had a Firebird with an LS3 in it? I mean, yeah, it would be the same as Camaro to tune, even if it's a swap out. I mean, LS3 the same. All engines are the same. Should I spray my 87 Sammy? What's a Sammy? Going up to 413 bore from 4125. So displacement bump should be minimal. And you can calculate that out. That is very minimal. If you're looking at 413 from a 4125, and that is 5 thousandths times 8. You could calculate your displacement change and use that as a guideline for how much airflow theoretically you should be bumping it up. So, if the total displacement goes up 4%, add 4% to your airflow tables, your MAF and your VE, and that'll get you in the ballpark. Yeah, on any fuel injection setup, you should have a 10 micron filter before your injectors. I don't know if a lot of people know that. Oh, Samurai. Yeah. Were you trying to kill yourself? I don't know if a lot of people talk about that or know that. Most people think that you can get by with a 100 micron filter, but you actually need a 100 micron coming out of the tank, and then before they go into the injectors, you want a 10 micron. Because it is way too easy to get something clogged up. No, I like the Dodge and Ram trucks with the 5.7 Hemi. I'm helping a guy tune one right now with Pro Charger on it. ICT Car Guy said on the Spider injectors that you might be able to do a 411 swap on those. That's what I was kind of thinking. Because 411s were on 5.7s. So you should be able to do a 411 swap on those and go to standard port injection. There's probably somebody that makes a harness. Gen 3, how can I tell if my injectors need upgrading? Got to log pulse width and then convert that into duty cycle. And there's math in the scanner to convert pulse width to duty cycle. You just need RPM and pulse width. With how much power Daniel, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how much boost he's running, any of that stuff. I'm just helping him with the process of tuning the Dodges because they're, a little different. They're not bad as long as you get into the SD side of things as opposed to trying to work with the neural networking on those. I have not tried neural network training on the Dodge. I don't know that the neural network stuff necessarily works as well as it should. Oh, it's like a 20 or a 21. It's a newer truck. So, but yeah, as I said, we're going to be doing standalone install. As Andrew said, we're putting a fuel tech on the Typhoon. Should be fun. Something new. I know a lot of you guys have been hitting me up to do a fuel tech setup. Hey, Tech K, good luck, brother. I'm excited to do a fuel tech setup. Done a video on adding flex fuel to a 411. I don't know that I have, JC. To be honest. And I mean, I guess it's just going to boil down to whether or not you've, had to be a 411 with a E85 OS, right? Segment swap. Can you segment swap the 411s to a E85 segment on one of like the early Tahoes or something like that? Ooh, is there an acceptable limit of coolant system pressure increase under boost? Mine rises up under boost only. Yeah. Dave, your old school brain is telling you right. You most likely have a head gasket issue. I assume they do aftermarket rods and pistons for the Typhoon block. Yeah, I mean, because it's just a 4.3. The block, the bore, all that stuff is the same for the 4.3s that they were making up until a couple years ago. The heads are different. the block is different, but the center line on the bore and all that stuff is the same. So there is some stuff out there, but we ain't messing around with any of that right now. Ted K says he ran the E85 on 411, but not the Flex Tune. It has a delay. Go to the EP9. That's probably the right way of doing it, honestly, is to do a P59 swap on a 411. Justin Murphy says, Dave, it could be due to water pump speed. So that would be something. Do a leak down, man. Do a leak down and throw some pressure at those things and see if, you know, if you're not getting noise out the exhaust or out the intake, but you're losing pressure on it, it's got to be going somewhere. You'll find a cylinder that is letting air out. Honestly, Andrew, the thing to do is if you smoke one of these motors, if you can get lucky and find one of the old 4.3 bow tie blocks, aluminum bow tie blocks, and build one of those up. They're pretty stout. We're going to do anything special with the fuel tank or just basically running the engine. We're going to run the transmission with it too. Going to control the 4L60 with it. Going to do the motor. Of course, everything. We're doing cool and air plug, doing sequential injection. We'll do methanol injection. We'll probably control it. Yeah. So here we go. Standard Motor Products part number FJ504 converts the Spider Poppet injectors to MPFI injectors. It's a direct plug-in swap I did on a 99 Yukon. That's what year my Tahoe was 99. I honestly, JC, as I said, I don't know if they'd have a segment swap for a 411 that'll let you do it. I mean, you can run E85 on anything as long as you know what the ethanol content is and adjust the tune accordingly, but nobody really wants to do that if you can get an ECU that allows you to run a ethanol sensor in it. Steve Martinick says, check thermostat, could be building RPMs rising too fast and thermostat not opening fast enough. Thank you, Steve. You're a new face. Appreciate the input. It is 8:27. If you got a question, get it in. Daniel made it. As the bells were about to ring. Get around. Don't we all, brother? Yeah. Take one or two more questions before we wrap it up tonight, and then I'm going straight to bed because I'm exhausted. But, as I said, keep your eyes peeled. We will be diving in. Be installing the crank sensor on the Typhoon. I'll do a video on doing the crank sensor installation on the Typhoon, crank and cam sensor, and then we'll dive into kind of the fast and nasty way of doing a harness. I was going to do a full custom harness build out. I don't have time. I don't have all the connectors I need. So we are going to be cutting up the factory harness, reutilizing it, but we'll go through the steps of which circuits we can do away with and which ones we need to keep, you know, incorporating some of the stock stuff, etc., etc. It's just caffeinated water, which I shouldn't be drinking caffeinated water at 8:30 at night. About to pop on the 08 Silverado intake on my LM7. Any tips on compensating for the larger throttle body? Yeah. Jared, I've actually got a video specifically on there about doing throttle body calculations and updating the throttle scaler area, because you'll want to do that or else it won't idle right. I mean, it'll do all kinds of funky stuff. But essentially, you're just taking the existing throttle body size and measuring it out versus the new throttle body size, calculating the percentage difference, and then applying that percentage difference to the throttle body scaler. Should be under airflow electronic throttle. Good question. Very on the nose specific question. I like it. I like it. One more. Tyler, always. One more. If anybody has a question, throw it out there. Jared, you're welcome. And as I said, next Thursday will not be around. I will be traveling next Thursday. Jared, it does sound complicated, but it is easy math. And so if you just search for Goat Rope Garage Throttle or something like that, it'll you'll be able to pull up the video and see exactly what I'm talking about. It'll get you in the ballpark. You only have to get it in the ballpark. It doesn't have to be an exact number. And you can actually play around with that number a little bit if it acts a little bit funky. Don't go down. It seems to act better going with a smaller number than it does a higher number. Where exactly do you enter info for fueling? Not the injector info. You'll have to elaborate, DIY. What kind of fueling? We don't necessarily. I mean, oh, thanks, Cole. We don't enter info. We enter info for injector sizing and ethanol content if we're doing that. Outside of that, all fueling is calculated off of airflow. So if we're lean, we tell the engine that it's making more air. It adds more fuel. So that's the thing. Like we talk about. Yeah, sure thing, Corey. Thank you for showing up, everybody. We talk about we're tuning fuel. You're not actually tuning fuel on these things. You are calibrating the air and getting the airflow readings correct. And so what we have is we've got a set AFR that we're trying to accomplish. We have our actual AFR that we're reading in the exhaust. We use those two numbers to derive an error percentage. And so if we are 8% lean, that means that our reading on the air side is 8% less than it's actually reading. So we add 8% to that. Suddenly we have 8% more air. It adds 8% more fuel. And then we get the correct AFRs. So good questions. Okay, everybody, we're going to wrap it up. You guys know the drill. Won't see you next Thursday. I'll see you the Thursday after that. Check out the news videos here that's going to be coming out in next week. Stuff like that. Hit me up on the Patreon patrons. I will try and do a video this weekend for you guys. And I'm about caught up with getting all the patron gifts and stuff sent out. I need to figure out who I owe books to. And yeah. Hi-Ho Silver. Catch us next time. You guys know the drill. Thanks for stopping by the garage. Remember, ABT, always be tuning.